how do you envision delivering these at scale, both commercially or clinically and commercially?
For us, that is what is one of the more exciting things about natural killer cells, because our technology is a true off-the-shelf allogeneic technology. So by being able to work with blood banks that can extrapolate these NK cells from the whole blood and that can additionally give us whole blood from which we can force osteoclasts, we'll have access to a large supply of this donor-specific material that we know are coming from patients that have been rigorously tested, and we have captured these NK cells in their most optimal state in which to supercharge them. And then through this expansion, being able to create very large batches at a time of cells, because right now we're taking one primary NK cell and we're expanding that exponentially to millions of supercharged cells. So as that expansion technology becomes even more exciting and more robust, and in fact, we're actually analyzing some other technologies coming out of a university where they're getting 40 billion cells per run, for example. We're looking to adopt some more strategies that allow us to make more cells at once. Then by cryopreserving these cells, that gives us the opportunity to then ship these cells anywhere in the world, whether it's to a clinical trial site here in the United States or to expanded care through the palliative care program that we've already modeled out, we've already started to try and raise funding for. And then these would allow us to analyze and evaluate where a manufacturing facility sits now and what is the regulatory rules around shipping that globally, so that we can get cells made in America or made in Cancun, Mexico, where we're currently also manufacturing, to places like India or Dubai or around Europe. So more patients are getting access to quality care that's non-toxic, that has the ability to restore this immune function faster versus waiting for the slow process of the FDA trials.
Great. And Raphael, I'd like to give you the opportunity to respond as well. When that time inevitably comes for you and your team as well, how do you envision delivering at scale, both clinically and commercially?
Yeah, this is where we are supposed to make a difference, I think, with what is the current technologies. Again, I'm not the one that's going to compare technologies saying what we're going to do is better or whatever. It's different, but there are high expectations to be able to bring cell therapy in an affordable way. Whether it's an excuse or it's a reality, bringing a $500,000 to $1 million technology to patients, even if it's curative, it's not going to work, because unfortunately, it's not an entre-soi with a few wealthy people that can afford an expensive therapy. The goal is to treat as many cancer patients as we can. You said it in your question to Tracy. NK cell off the shelf is ready for prime time. It is ready. And the reason why I will say it is ready, even if there are still a lot of things that need to be tweaked and adjusted on the manufacturing process, and each technology, each biotech that is developing it will have its own challenges. But I will remind everybody, and we are all witnessing this as we are advancing in our journey in biotech and pharma. 30, 40 years ago, when we started working with antibodies, the cost of a batch for antibodies was completely outrageous. And many people at the time were saying, never gonna work, too risky, too expensive. We're never gonna be able to scale this type of technology. You're crazy guys doing this and whatever. Today, manufacturing an antibody costs pennies compared to what it was even a decade or 15, 20 years ago. We pulled it off because we have a knowledge as an ecosystem. We learn, we grow, we improve, we make it work. I think we can do the same with cell therapy manufacturing. We have learned from the autologous process what are the limitations of it. We have learned from the science and the biology of NK cells and other type of immune cells that can be using eventually an allogenic approach, that we have ways of manufacturing this and of eventually scaling it to a level that will make it cost effective. So what is really important here is that yes, people are betting on other future technology like in vivo delivering and whatever. I agree we have to do this, and this is the future. But why would you skip something that works already? We know we can manufacture at scale NK cells. We know we can make that at a fraction of the cost. I would say we can be at least 10 times cheaper than an autologous therapy. And when I say 10 times, I'm conservative. Um, all this is technically doable. It's going to take a little bit of time. There's going to be some success and failures, but I can promise you in a decade, we will be looking back and say, remember when people said that you couldn't manufacture cell therapy at scale? And we will be doing it. I am convinced about this. So the technicality of it, believe in our engineers, believe in our scientists, they will do it. Then it's about making it accessible. Then it's about building a commercial model that will make investors, partners, big pharma excited about, because they will see, oh, wait a minute. Suddenly, instead of treating 1,000 patients globally with an autologous CAR T, maybe I can treat 100,000 patients. And if it's 10 times cheaper, I'm treating 10 times more patients. So I have more opportunities to generate the revenue that I need to be able to re-inject into the system to trigger new treatment. So I'm bringing a little bit on a pure business side, and I apologize. Sometimes people, particularly scientists, don't like it, but that's the reality of our business. It has to be economically viable. And I am convinced that cell therapy with allogenic approach, dealing with some of the challenges that we have to face, but we will be able to do so, is a sustainable and in the future, very near future, profitable way of delivering drugs to patients. It is, I am convinced. And so I'm sure we're going to do it. At NKILT, it's part of our mojo, is to bring as many therapies to we can to patients. But there are key questions, and there was one that I was in the chat that is really critical, is that how about donor selection? How about rejection of your cells because they can be rejected? How about lymphodepletion? All these questions are obvious, but they should not be the limiting factors. As I said earlier, we're going to address each of them one at a time and find a response to them, like we always did. And when we find a response, we go to the next step and we deliver a new type of drugs to patients. So it's a little bit kind of generic the way I'm answering it, but it's a belief that we need to have. We know how to do it today. We can pull it off. We just need to believe in it.